Hi, Amanda here, and I'm going to do this recording today, and it's all about goals. And I'm going to look to do this recording in about 10 minutes so that it's long enough for you to get some of the key messages, but short enough for you to be engaged. So wherever you are, I hope you're really well watching this. I'm here in my office with the lipstick principles behind me, and I'm literally just talking to the screen. So what I want to do is, because we're not covering, because you're not getting the opportunity in the live sessions to see what I talk about when I talk about goals, etc. I'm going to do this recording for you because do you know what? Obviously, this is probably the most important part of the program because this is about you setting down, deciding what you want, and going for what you want. It comes like a couple of months into the program because what I hope to do through the program that I run and that you're attending is have your head in the right space for starting to set goals. So that your confidence is raised, that you're feeling like, oh my God, I can feel something different going on. I've noticed some changes in my life. So when you set that out, what you want to achieve in the next year or so, that you're actually believing it's possible. So we're not coming from a sort of a standing start. Now, I don't know whether you set goals or not at the moment. Most people don't, to be honest with you. I think, it wasn't something that we were ever talked about at school, although I think it is now. Often our parents didn't model it. And to be honest with you, probably people that set goals seemed a bit out there. Whereas actually, the people that set goals are the people that get there where they want to be. Because, just writing down on a piece of paper something that you want to achieve means you're 50% more likely to make it happen. Imagine that. 50% more likely. I see it as a higher percentage than that with the clients that I work with and in the groups that I work with. But obviously we're on a program, so we're also going all out to make things happen. And I've heard that the 50%, I've heard that you're 44% more likely if you've written down a goal to make it happen. Only 4% of people that don't write down their goals achieve their goals. And I don't know where all these percentages come from. What I can tell you is this. I've been coaching now for nearly a decade, and almost every week I receive an email from people, somebody saying, oh my God, Amanda, I attended your course XYZ date, and I've just found this piece of paper in a drawer, in a shoe. Somebody found one in a shoe, in the exercise book, in the loft, and I've just realised that all of what I set out has actually happened. It's extremely, extremely touching. So very simple. If I was only saying one thing to you, it'd be write down your goals. So there's a lot of other reasons why we might not write them down. We might be scared that we're not going to achieve them, etc. But I'm going to help you over the next few weeks. I'll be sending you messages saying which goals we're working on this week and how we're going to set them out, because I'm going to teach you how to set them in a manner that you'll start to achieve, and then you don't mind dreaming big because it's all going to happen. But I want to share a story with you that that's quite interesting, actually. I didn't used to set goals, etc. And then you'll know that I did my NLP course and my master's in NLP. And that's neuro-linguistic programming. So on that course, we learned about setting goals. And I met a fabulous set of people on that program. And I partnered with a guy called Rob for the final final day of that course. And on the final day, it was all about goals and talking about picturing, imagining, and putting the energy out there about something that we wanted to achieve in the next 5 years. So Rob wanted to live in California, and he lived and worked in London. And I was on the course learning how to coach, basically learning another method of coaching. So I wanted to travel. I wanted to have a coaching business, and I wanted to make a difference to people's lives. And I wanted to continually develop. You know how when you go on a course and you feel fantastic, and you go, I want to continue to learn, I want to continue to develop. So that was in my 5-year goal. So Rob and I kept in touch for a couple of years, as you do, that special bond that you have when you meet people on a course. And then we kind of lost touch. I didn't hear from him. I'm not sure where he'd gone. Time went on, as it does. All kind of things happening. My business was growing. I think had I just launched Leading Ladies? maybe because it was a couple of years ago. So anyway, time passes. And I often thought about those goals and I used to picture them. And anyway, when I decided to enroll on another course, there was a big investment of my time and my money. I went to study in America with Jack Canfield, who's the Success Principles coach and co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. He's amazing. And he was running a course in Los Angeles. Anyway, my partner and I, we flew out there and we were, I don't know if you've ever been to Los Angeles, but there's an area called Venice Beach and it's like a boardwalk and very kind of hippie-ish and it's lovely. So we'd had a stroll down there. We'd been on the beach. We'd actually been on some cycles that morning, cycling down the boardwalk. Life felt pretty good. And you know that kind of pinch me moment of, oh my God, can't believe I'm here. Anyway, I was sat in a bar kind of on the side of the boardwalk. So the only thing between me and the boardwalk was a small fence. And the sun was coming down. It was January. And I was thinking, oh my God, look at me here in January. And then I really did close my eyes for a moment and I thought, how have I ended up here? You know, how have I ended up here? And I thought, God, you know, the journey that I'd been on, the NLP course 5 years ago, I said I wanted to travel, I wanted to continually develop. And here I am, sat in America, about to attend this phenomenal training course. And I was having that, you know, oh God, I can't believe it. Kind of teary, isn't it? The sun was beating down on my face. And then the sun kind of like disappeared from the front of my face, as if, you know, a cloud had passed. But, you know, we're in Los Angeles, we don't get clouds there. And actually, what it was somebody had come and stood in front of me. And I heard this voice go, Amanda. And I opened my eyes and looked up. I couldn't see anything because of the sun, but there, right in front of me was Rob. He was there right in front of me with his dog that was called Diesel that I met. And he went, Amanda. I went, Rob, you know, what are you doing here? He goes, I live here. He said, do you remember I wanted to move here? He said, I live here. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. He said, what are you doing here? We had a drink and we had a catch up and I told him all what I was doing. And we worked it out, and it was 4 years and 7 months since we'd put our goals in about the future for 5 years, and here we were living the dream. I just thought it was an amazing story. So that was a big goal. That was like 5 years in advance, and I was only just sort of like launching the business, etc. Took 5 years for that to happen, but you know, that's where we were. He'd moved out there 18 months before, so he had made it happen. And I think that moment of actually sitting down and going, what is it? What is it that I actually want? And just putting it out there. And then what happens is, as soon as you give your mind a goal, you activate something in your mind called a RAS. So we get your RAS on. It's a reticular activating system. And what it is, it's a goal-seeking device. So whatever you pop in your mind as a goal, your unconscious mind will work night and day to try and make that happen for you, to find a solution to that challenge that you're looking for, so long as you are specific. So I'll give an example of, if I said, oh, I want a new dress. So I want a new dress. It's kind of interesting. Maybe if I'm walking past a clothes shop or something, I may see a dress in the window and think, oh, that's not the one. But how about if I said, I would like a yellow dress that comes to my knee with short sleeves and a belt that goes around the waist and a kind of like slash neck that comes to here and really sort of fits in, like a dark yellow. What would happen if I was walking down the street and I looked over into a shop window and I saw a yellow dress? I'm going to be instantly drawn to it because I've been really clear about what it is that I want. So I'd cross the street and find the solution to my challenge, which is that I want the yellow dress. some of the reasons people don't always achieve what they want is because they don't get specific. It's like in the live workshops, I'll say, who wants more money? And most people will put their hand up because it's a goal a lot of people seem to want. But I'll walk over and I'll give them 10 pence or I'll give them 2 pence. And I go, so you've got more money, you've achieved your goal, congratulations. And clearly that isn't really what they're meaning. So when it comes to whether it's financial goals or weight loss goals or an outfit or a place you want to live, it's about being specific. If it's a place that you want to live, it would be, I want to live in a 3-bedroomed cottage in Derbyshire with a green front door and a pivot hedge. Whatever it is that's your dream, but it's not just saying I want a new house. The other really cool thing about when you get specific is that when you share your goals with other people, you activate their reticular activation system. So that is completely and utterly always looking to solve the challenge as well and find the solution to your problem. Now, I'm just going to talk, I tell you another couple of stories really into one about goal setting. So if you are not used to goal setting, then writing big goals that are all the way out there, can seem a little scary, to be honest with you. And I want to share a story about my mum and my sister. So 25 years ago, my sister moved to New Zealand. She's got a young son who was just 1 year old, and she was due to have another one. And off she went to the other side of the world. And I think that the experience was not quite what she was expecting. And I believe that this can be the same for a number of people when they move countries, is that they think, oh my God, I don't know whether I can stay here. And spend the first couple of years just thinking about coming home, really. They don't want to set down roots. At the same time my sister moved to New Zealand, my dad built a house. Now, my dad was a builder, but he built the house that my mum and dad live in, which is their kind of forever house, I guess, if you like. So my mum was in charge of the garden. So the house had been built in a field, and to get my mum's garden off the ground, rather than, nowadays you just go in and you use an excavator and a digger. But what happened wasn't the case then. What she did was she went out and painstakingly every day dug a little hole. So she dug a little hole and might spend an hour a day and, turn over about this much ground. It was a hard job. It took a long time. But because my mum knew, they're still in that house now, 25 years later, that she was going to be in that house for the rest of her life, or that's what she imagined that would be the case anyway, it was worth it. She could do like a little tiny bit towards her goal every day for the next 2 years until she finally got it into kind of the look that she wanted. She would plant things that weren't going to come into season until a year later, but that was okay because mum was going to be there. So she had a very long-term vision, a very long-term goal about what her garden was going to look like, and everything she did in the first couple of years was about working towards that goal, which she realised. And to be honest, it was probably even 5 years later when it looked absolutely magnificent because everything was so well established. My sister's on the other side of the world, and I've talked to her about this only in the last year or so. And she said for the first year, she's very green-fingered. The first year, she couldn't even think about the garden, just couldn't think about it. And the second year, she still wasn't ready to say, I'm staying in this country. She just kept thinking, I'll be home back in the UK this time next year. But she did like gardening. So she said in the second year, what she did was she planted pots, seasonal plots. So, she'd pop tulips in and they would flower because that wasn't too far ahead. She did that for the third year as well. Just planted seasonal flowers. She only wanted to see the reality of them over 3 months. It was in her fourth year, and she's now got 3 children in New Zealand, and she starts to plant the garden. She was ready to plant the garden. Now, I tell you that story because if you're not used to big long-term goals, you know, what your garden's going to look like in 5 years' time, then start off with a pot. You know, your garden goals are the big ones that you can work up to when you've got a real clear understanding about where you want to be. But your pot goals, why not just create a goal that you'll realise in the next sort of season, in the next sort of 3 to 4 months? Start small with goals like that can be realised in the next quarter. And then when they happen and you set another one and that happens, then you can start to build your confidence and really realise where you're going. Now, so I've covered being specific. I've covered just writing some smaller pot goals. You know, bring them a bit closer, bring the time frames in. Always be kind of realistic in terms of that as well. I think the bigger goals just take a little longer than ever we imagine. Each week from now on in, I will be sending you a little message, if you're part of the program, telling you which goals we're going to work on next. But I just want to share those stories with you to bring goals to life for you a little bit, because really, truly, you imagine this. Whatever you're going to write down, whatever you're going to decide is going to happen. And in the next year, we're going to make that happen. So I'm really excited about it. I think I've done that I think I went over 10 minutes. I think it was about 13 or 14 minutes. But I hope that's got you a little bit excited about goal setting, why we're doing it. What you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pot goals or garden goals, and kind of that big vision piece as well. And I will look forward to hearing more about your goals when next we actually see each other. Okay, I'll say ta-ta for now. Any questions, just feed them in. All right, bye.